cast of R&B. The cast of R&B. With Hillary and Eddie. With Hillary and Eddie. Yeah. That's that vibe. Welcome to another episode of the Cast of R&B.
I'm Hillary.
And I am Eddie, a.k.a. the Silver Fox.
Oh, he's going so hard with this. This is this cap of foolishness that I, as a non-fi-non, am really just like my patience, y'all. Like my patience. And this episode, I'm talking to another non-fi-non, Troy Taylor, legendary songwriter, composer, producer,
and
man of the illustrious gray beard.
The Silver Fox Club.
Yeah, this is.
I don't have enough grays. I'm looking. I can't be part of this club. Nope. They're both shaking their heads at me. The struggle.
So what's up, guys? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for joining us. You know, as we were just talking, it's amazing that you've been doing this for 30 years, which, you know, as I explained, feels like, you know, every 10 years is a lifetime. So you've been doing this literally for, you know, 3 lifetimes. So you know, it was important for, you know, as we're doing this podcast and being able to, you know, educate, you know, people. There's like nobody else that we would want to get on here except for you to be able to help do that. So thank you for coming on and hanging out with us.
Yeah, and you've worked with everyone from Whitney to Aretha to Boys to Men and Tyrese and Carl Thomas, but most notably, of course, Trey Songz, Mr. No Shirt, with your Songbook label. Tell me, when you discovered him, did he have a shirt on?
Actually, he had a tank top that didn't fit. It was too big for him.
Sounds apropos. That sounds...
Yeah, he was 15 and his tank top was too big, and so he was like really scrawny, and then the tank top was real big, and it was hilarious actually.
You were like, you look like a struggle. I might be able to fix this, but I'm not sure.
He could have benefited from those blueberry pancakes we were talking about.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, we wanted to just like jump in and really get to talking about one of the most recent things that happened that you were a part of, which was this, and it's not even a beat battle anymore. I mean, I think
it's a gentleman's battle.
As a beat battle with Swiss and Tim and with other producers, but now it's evolved. So it's called Versus. It actually has a name, and I think there's some rules now as early battles did not, and I think led to some things going awry. But I think
what he really means by awry is that the Dream and Sean wanted to fight each other, and everybody on IG Live was like, "These motherfuckers want to fight. They want to fight. Do you think they want to fight?"
They had some unresolved situations that lasted over years, and that was actually their first time really confronting each other. But it was the wrong time to throw in little shots on stuff we weren't privy to. Like, we didn't.
Keyword, we weren't privy to. Most people were like, "Why are they? I thought this was for. Why is? Huh?"
Yeah.
And I was definitely one of those people. I thought they, you know, obviously being in the Atlanta songwriting community and doing it for as long as they have, I thought at least they would have crossed paths.
Troy is shaking his head. He's like, "No."
No, you have no idea. That thing goes back. Goes back.
We spoke to Sean and got a little bit of information.
Did he try to say he wasn't drunk? Because he was.
I mean, listen, Eddie said that he had spoken to him 30 minutes before and he was sober and normal. And then, you know.
Yeah, but someone said that they saw him at the thing drinking before he got on. That he was actually at the bar drinking. And then he was driving.
I'm sorry, how are we quarantining with bars and cars? And
that's the thing. That's why everybody remembers it, because everyone knows that.
Where is this everybody? Was Atlanta?
He wasn't home. He was on IG Live.
At the bar?
Yeah, he was on his IG live, and that's why everybody was saying, no, he was drunk from earlier. We saw him drinking, and I was like looking and thinking like he was already on his live, doing it, and he was in his car. So everybody was saying it down in the thing.
The comments.
So yeah,
Oh dear. Well, let's
that's
go
how
ahead
I
and
learned.
switch.
That's how I found out what was going on. I'm like,
Troy out here snitching on Sean. Let's
I don't
switch it
care.
to.
No, I mean, if
You
you're on
don't
your
care.
IG, if you're on your IG live, you ain't snitching. This called
You sure ain't? Yeah.
It's called receipts. So let's take it to the people who were actually, gentlemanly, cordial, bigging up each other. That was the Jonte and Neo battle, where you were in the background, good sir. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, of course, Jonte is my little brother, so I helped him, just select the songs and what order they should be in, and just making sure that everything went, like, okay, that's a minute 30, 2020. That was the first one that became like organized.
Agreed.
20 songs each, play at a minute 30, no talking in between, no talking, too much talking in the beginning. So even though you can take your little shots or whatever, but that was the first one that went smooth.
Yeah, it's interesting because I thought that, and I relayed this to a few different people, I thought that a more appropriate battle would have been Sean against Jonte and Neo against Dream, because Neo and Dream have a more extensive artistry catalog where they battled that way.
They both could do with their songs.
Because if you look at the playlist of both Jonte and Neo played probably about 8, 9, or 10 of his own records, which obviously are all amazing records. But the disadvantage is that Jonte has been known primarily more as a prolific songwriter, and was able to play all of his hits, which he obviously delivered for other artists. So I thought that would have been a more appropriate battle. It's water under the bridge. And I don't think there was a winner or loser in this situation. I thought it was just...
Troy has a feeling. He's making a face.
Go ahead, Troy. What you got to say?
No. Jonte won. Oh, by far. He won. Listen, I tell this all the time. I say this. Here's the thing.
You say it all the time.
Jonte got started. He wrote Sweet Lady with me when he was 17, and he did just what is it? I think I'm gonna leave you alone.
Get Gone, Ideal.
Get Gone. He
A
did
classic.
that when he was he did that when he was 16. Now this is 1997. Neo wasn't even signed yet at that.
I thought he was gonna say Neo wasn't born, but
he wasn't signed yet. And then in the 2000s, when Neo got signed, he sat on Def Jam for like 4 years. So if Jonte started in 97, had all these records, Just Be a Man About It, I Don't Wanna, Aaliyah Records, Sweet Lady, and then go into the 2000s and he's on Chris Brown, and by 2005 he's popping, and Neo wasn't out yet. So Jonte had a way head start. You know what I mean? And so because people didn't know Jonte like that by face, and really, they automatically assumed Neo was going to kill him. But no, because then it was one song that Jonte played that Neo didn't even know Jonte did. That's when it was like, ooh.
Which one was that?
That was I Don't Wanna by Aaliyah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He didn't realize.
He didn't know.
Like,
Listen, I didn't realize that either. And he had a little technicality in there when he played the "Don't" by Bryson Tiller, because it was sampled.
Yes,
it was a sample.
No, but he said it. He said he's like this counts because they sampled my song. So
and
for
the record, gentlemen, what song did Bryson sample?
He said it. I don't remember what song it was, but he said I that was new to me. I was like, whoa, what song was that? So that was like a kidney blow. Like
he caught it. He caught everybody off guard.
A kidney blow. Oh my goodness.
How did you and Jonte initially even connect? So I run them him being my little brother into the point where I don't even tell that part of it. But when it's a very, 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 very interesting story, and it has so many layers. But when he was signed to RCA, 14, Kenny Ortiz signed him, and Skip Miller was the president. And Kenny called me and said, I got this kid, man. I really want you to work with him. He's amazing, but his voice is in the middle of changing. So I want you to really work with him. And so I came down and I met with him. And then I lived in Jersey at the time. And we started working together. I came out to Atlanta. We started working together. And then as that's going on, Skip Miller, the president, gets fired. And when Skip Miller gets fired, Kenny Ortiz gets fired. And when Kenny Ortiz gets fired, the new president and the A&R came in with their kid. So when they came in with their kid, they dropped Jonte. So it was weird, and Jonte was always worried about whether he would still be able to work with me. But one thing about Jonte at that time, when he was like 14, 15, he had amazing memory. He can hear things one time and remember the whole thing. And then there was this other thing he would do. He would just sing songs, like under his breath or just singing. And I'm like, what song is that? I don't know, I just made it up. What do you mean you just made it up? I don't know. I was like, do you write this down? He's like, no, I usually remember them. I said, but there's songs that you just make up in your head. He's like, yeah, I do it all the time. I was like, wow, we got to figure that out. So when he got dropped, I told his mom, like, you know, he has an amazing gift for writing. I want to focus on that. So his mom got him a tutor, had him come to Jersey, so he would do school by morning, and by the afternoon, we would work on songs. And I would, you know, just have him, teach him how to record himself and everything. So that's what we did. And so by this time, by the time he got dropped and everything, he was already into the writing. And that A&R, the new A&R, wanted to meet with me to give them songs for their kid. And I'm like,
who is their kid?
I'm going to tell you.
I was waiting for the big reveal. I figured
I have to tell it in this way.
Order.
Because yeah. So I'm like, I'm not gonna help. You just dropped my guy. Like, I'm not helping you with this kid. I don't want to work with him. But I had a studio on 23rd Street, 17th floor. Now, what does that mean? That means expensive.
Yeah, I was 23rd like, you got Street
in New York,
the city,
that's expensive. Troy has to do what Troy needs to do. So I took the meeting, and I went through some old stuff. I was going through some old stuff, and I stumbled on this one song that wasn't finished at all. And his name is Anthony Morgan. He's like, wait, what's that? What's that? I was like, oh, I never finished that. So play it. It was just a track and a hook. And I played it. He was like, I had totally forgot it. It had to be like 2 years old. So he was like, yo, I love that. Can you finish that? And I was like, I mean, yeah. Yeah. I was already slightly annoyed anyway. So I was like, yeah, I know I can finish. So he left and I sat there. And then it hit me. So then I called Jonte and I said, Jonte, the way you get your replacement back is blowing them up. He was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I'm going to play you this song over the phone, and I need verses. I'll play this track and hook, and I need verses. Now, remember, what did I say about him? His memory was incredible. So I play over the phone. He'll hear it one time and literally, okay, I got it, and hang up. So that's what he did. So he hit me with one verse. I was like, no, it's too many words. Too many words. It's too much. Hung up. Call me again. Hit me with a second idea. Like, no, it's still too much. I need it to be a conversation. I need it to be a blatant conversation where I can use the exact words, no less, no more, and have a conversation. I need that to be just like that, simple and in the pocket. So he said, okay. And I went to go get something to eat. So I went out, get something to eat, came back. He called me and was like, I got it. So now I'm going to say the lyrics in a conversation to show you how he nailed it, what I said.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you'll know who the kid is and what the song is.
Okay, drop
Right?
it on us, Troy.
Now we got the trivia.
So now any other day I would play it cool, but I can't now because I want you. See, I'm hooked on like how you flex your style, and I want to talk for a little while. I ain't never really seen your type, but I must admit that I kind of like. So maybe if you had the time, we could talk about you being my sweet lady.
Dang, he got dropped for Tyrese.
Right. So he blew up his replacement.
His model replacement.
And that's why that story is to this day classic, because it's like any other artist would be like, no, F him. But I was like, nah, dude, the story would be great forever if you do this.
And
he
also,
did it.
Daddy got to pay for this studio, so go on and write.
Well, I mean, yeah, that too. But I wasn't even thinking about that as the story.
No here nor there.
I mean, I wasn't.
Don't talk about my checks, Hillary. Stop.
The story was amazing, and I sang. So he put it on my Instagram. My we didn't even have cell phones.
I was like, what? This
my caller. I mean, my what is it?
Voicemail child. Is that what you're trying to say?
The
voice
sidekick pager.
It was the actual voicemail thing, but it was not voicemail. It was the my voice machine, my whatever
answering machine.
Answering machine.
Answering machine. Yeah, that thing. That whole minute. That ancient dinosaur. Yes. So I sang the demo, and we ended up doing it. Now, as I put on my page, Tyrese finally told his story that, I would tell everybody.
I saw that. Tyrese, he was talking.
He didn't want to do the song, and I would tell that everywhere. Yeah. And so finally, he admits it, like, to the world, like, nah, I didn't. People didn't understand that. I was like, what? Why didn't he want to? I'm like, he didn't want to do it. Like, and he gave me hell. He said
it was too mature for him at his 21 to 20-year-old age.
Because
what did he say?
He got the age. Topless? He got the age mixed up. He was 17. He was like 17 or 18 years old. He got the age mixed up. Because Tyrese is 40. He's 41. I'm 51. So that's 10 years, right? I was 27 then. So he had to be 17 going on 18. He meant, when he said that, I'm like, no, you and Usher were on the same age. Usher was 17 when he did My Way.
Usher was in the My Way video. Tyrese was in the My Way video.
Right.
With the girl with the silkiest perm I've ever seen.
Yeah. So, it's a awesome story. The fact that he, ended up writing those. He did the two verses. He did the verses. I did the bridge, the track, and the story goes on to be amazing. If you like to hear it,
give us the short version, Pastor Troy.
Okay, so, I was having this girl come in town, so I scheduled her coming in to be after I record Sweet Lady, because I'm in LA now. So Monday night, I have her coming in Tuesday. So I'm thinking we're going to do Sweet Lady on Monday. I'll be done, go get her at the airport, and I'm cool. So Monday evening, midday, I'm there. He don't show up. I'm waiting. He don't show. Now, at that point, the bridge wasn't done. My thing in the background wasn't done. It hadn't recorded it. At least on the, I did it on the demo, but I figured let me leave it open so that he could be a part of the song, and then, write the verses. Write the bridge, and so he'll be a part of the song, because I knew he didn't want to do it. So, because the label made him do it. So he didn't show up. So I got bored. I did all the backgrounds. He didn't show up. I got something to eat. He still didn't show up. I did the bridge. So after that, I got up. I felt like, forget it, it's late. and I went to an industry party that was going on that evening. And guess who was there? I don't like Tyrese. Didn't you know I was waiting in the studio for you? Oh no, I told him I wanted to start tomorrow. So I'm like, they didn't tell me that. So now my dilemma is, you messing my timeline up. Like, I got Shorty coming in. So my ex-partner at the time ended up going to get her the next day. And I stayed at the studio. So he went and picked her up from the airport, brought her to the studio. So now she's sitting next to me while I'm recording Tyrese, right? And Tyrese is giving me such a hard time, and she had never been in the studio before. So she's just watching, and she's watching me interact with him and him just being difficult. And so she goes, "What is what you're asking him to do, like, hard?" And I'm like, "No." Then why is he not doing it? I said, "Because he doesn't want to do the song." "Oh, it's a nice song. Why doesn't he want to do the song?" I'm like, I don't know. So she sat there and watched this whole thing. Okay, now this is on a Tuesday. I get everything I need, but then we got to clean up, and it was late, which means we got to come back tomorrow. So now I'm on her time now. She's, so the next day, and watch where I'm going with this. So the next day, we clean up or whatever, but I didn't spend so much time in the studio with her out here. I decided not to go to this big party. I was like, you know what? We're not going to go. We'll just stay in a hotel and stay in a hotel. Yeah.
We're all making faces about what people do in a hotel.
And so
when they get flued out,
like 4 a.m, I get a call, and it's like, "Yo, you hear about it?" I said, "Hear about what?" "Yo, Biggie got killed." I'm like, "What do you mean?" Turn on the radio. Turned on the radio. It was that vibe party. I was supposed to go to that party, but I decided not to because I spent so much time in the studio. I didn't want to go to a party and not spend time with her. I didn't go to that party. And that
so
was
Tyrese saved your life.
No, he didn't save my life. I just wasn't there to where Biggie got killed. Like, you know what I mean?
Got
Like,
you.
that
Right.
was March 9th, early in the morning. And that was really crazy. So when I saw Notorious, it was real for me because it was like, yo, I was supposed to be there and I did not go. So the story has a lot of twists and turns, and it just, I was doing Sweet Lady at the time I was supposed to go to the vibe party that Biggie got killed at. That's it.
Yeah.
that was a word. Thank you, Pastor Troy.
The real
Usually
pastor.
when I do master classes and I tell it, everyone's at the edge of their seat. Yeah, so.
No, it was good. Listen, I'm not anti. I think it was very good. I just think it's interesting that you're like, Tyrese did not save my life.
He didn't, because I wasn't in jeopardy. If I was there, nobody else got shot but Biggie.
This is not a joking matter because people are going to be mad about that. So listen.
No. You're not joking about Biggie. I'm just saying, like.
No, I know that you're not. I'm making jokes, and I don't want it to be misconstrued as I'm making jokes about a
of course
historical
not. I don't
icon.
think anybody would think that.
This is 2020, in the year of the Rona. It's crazy out here. It's wild in these streets.
Yeah, this is true.
So
and they make everything a joke. Yeah.
Ciao. So let's continue on sort of working with artists and how you feel like you can put them best at ease to maybe not act a donkey like Tyrese in the years that have ensued beyond the Sweet Lady recording. Like, you said that you pull the best out of K. Michelle. Like, what kind of characteristics and skills do you feel like songwriters need to get the best out of their artists?
Well, I was a very straight, no nonsense type producer. Like, if you're whack, you're whack. If it doesn't sound good, it don't sound good. If we need to do it over 22 times, we're gonna do it 23. Period. So I was known throughout the music industry as and I cursed then. I don't curse now, but I cursed then. So I was very, very like, what the F is that? Yo, man, do that.
You out here treating people like Dr. Dre and Michelle?
I guess, no, not like that. Cause I don't know. I wasn't like
We're
that
not gonna
bad,
get in
but
there. That was just a surface joke. Don't dive deep. Don't roll back
yeah.
out of that one. Continue.
But yeah, I was known for that. So it almost got to a point where people were scared of me because even though I got the best out of people, my tactics was a little sergeant-y, army kind of drill sergeant-ish. And
AKA what church
so with
choir.
K Michelle, she's very aggressive, very unpredictable, and I can care like zero, and she knows it. So that's how I get, and I if she acts up, which she never does, but if she does, she knows one or two things are gonna happen. Either I'm gonna go off on her or I'm going to leave. And the third one is go off on her and leave. She knows that in a heartbeat. So
All the
we both, but we never clashed. We clashed when we first met, and it was hilarious. That's a story too, and it was really, really funny. And after that happened, I never had any problems with her.
So now we have to hear about the K Michelle beef.
You don't have to.
I would like to, because she's very
Okay.
entertaining.
me too.
Okay, so she was working with Kevin Ross. Delonte had her working with Kevin Ross. He was vocally producing her. And Delonte was managing her at the time. So he wanted me to ultimately work with her and vocally produce her because she sang really loud.
And for
So
the civilians like me, who's Delonte?
Delonte was my manager at the time. And he was managing her at the time.
He also
He was
managed
beginning to.
songs. He was also a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, but that's a whole different conversation.
Is he also part of the Silver Fox Club? Like what?
He's a part of
No,
the
he's the Ball Head Club.
Oh, continue.
Yeah. So he wanted me to go downstairs and meet her. I go downstairs and I'm watching her and Kevin like working and everything, and I'm noticing that she's distorting. And so I'm like, you know what? You might want to back up from the mic because you're kind of loud. And so in her mind, it was like, who are you? Like, now, what she? No, I can't tell that part. I'll get to that part. So she got mad, and she was like, "Yo, you need to come. I don't even know who you are." I'm like, Delonte, I don't need this. Like, I don't. This chick is crazy. I don't need this. Like, she's tripping. Boom, boom. She ended up going and telling her mentor on me.
Who's her mentor?
R. Kelly. And it was an R. Kelly song. So now, stop there. Here's the part where I have to tell you before I go further. By that time, beforehand, I say him. I don't usually say his name, but I had in the mid 90s, I had the end 90s, when he got in trouble, he couldn't leave because he had gotten in trouble. So I went and I produced his songs. I produced the vocals, like for example, B2K, Bump Bump Bump. I produced those vocals because he wrote that and produced that song. So he could not go anywhere because he got in trouble for pissing on the girl. Yeah. And then
got it. That's right. I was like, which time?
Right.
The time where he married Aaliyah and it got annulled, or the time after?
He didn't get in trouble. He didn't get in trouble for marrying Aaliyah. He got in trouble for pissing on that girl.
Her family was upset, is what I mean. But
continue. They weren't upset. They let it go down, and then they thought about it, and then got it annulled. Like, anyway, so I would go out, and it was a few songs by that time because he liked the way that I produced the vocals on his songs on other people, so it became a regular thing. So now that's you know that part. K Michelle didn't know that. So when she went to tell on me to him and complain, he listened to her, and the first thing came out of his mouth is, you listen to everything that man tell you to do, and you do it. So she ended up apologizing to me, and she told me what R. Kelly said, and I laughed. And I said to her, so you really didn't understand. You weren't going to win that battle. So from that point on, we never had any problems because she likes to throw out, I work with, da, 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 da. But it's like, how you gonna say that to me?
Is that when you slap the Grammys on the table for her?
No, I don't have to do that. Kelly said it for me. I ain't have to say nothing. He said it, and she can't beat that. It's like, yo, this man respects me. You gonna respect me.
Now I have to ask the question, since you brought up R. Kelly. Was it a weird thing where you were like, okay, so he's pissing on children, but I'll definitely still work with him? Like, how did that?
No, well, I wasn't working with him.
So the bum happened after the court case. No. It just that we all saw the video.
He ain't there. I'm working on his songs with artists. I'm not working with him.
Oh, so the artists call you and like, hey, can you finish this up?
Well, the record company says, hey, we got this R. Kelly song. We need you to come in and produce the vocals. Ain't got nothing to do with him.
Got it.
However, he did steal my hat before.
Was it an expensive hat?
Well,
I hope you didn't ask for it back, child.
It's another story. You want to hear it?
If it has to do with R. Kelly, Pastor Troy, I have to say I'm going to pass on this one.
Thank you.
I don't want to.
It's okay. It's okay, and I shall not tell it. But anyway, I'm the OG now, so I got stories. Like everything's
no, I love it, and they're wonderful.
So yeah. So when we talk about certain things, it's like dang, I'm learning how to, without getting into the story.
Well, I want to talk about something, and I'll preface this by saying I grew up in Chicago in the 90s, so therefore I grew up on R. Kelly music.
Mm-hmm.
As a sidebar, I used to, at 14 or 15, I used to work for a lawn care company, and I used to cut his grass in Olympia Fields, which is a suburb of Chicago, which is a
interesting
whole nother conversation. But
right. But that's still interesting, though.
Yeah, there's this big debate that's been going on over the last, 4, 5, 6 months about the king of R&B.
Okay.
And for me, it'll always be R. Kelly. Well, not always, but it has been and is R. Kelly for me. But you've been working or had been working with Jacquees, who said he's the king of R&B. Tell us a little bit
of his generation.
Oh, I missed of his generation.
Is that what he said?
I missed of his generation.
Because I feel like Keith Sweat was ready to fight it.
When he first said it,
that's
that
delineation wasn't clear.
He said, I am the king of R&B of my generation. He said it right all in one. People just X that part out because they so focus on the fact that he has the nerve to say it. Listen, let me tell you something. If you're asking me what I think about it, and you didn't, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
Hold on.
First and foremost,
Troy, what's your take on it?
First and foremost, you can't tell a person how to feel about themselves.
You're right.
If they feel like they're the king of R&B, who are you to tell them that they're not? You don't have to agree with it.
An R&B fan.
You don't have to agree with it, but you can't tell him not to say it.
I disagree.
Do you agree with it?
You can't tell him. You can't tell that man. You can't tell. You can't tell him what to talk about, what to say, and not. He can say whatever you want. You don't have to agree.
As a Black woman, I always relish my ability to tell other people what I feel like they can't say.
I'm gonna let you hear what that word sound like. Like really, yeah. As a grown Black woman
said it.
No grown Black woman want to be told what to say. Now, how about that?
Exactly. Yeah. But they love to tell other people what they can't say. You know that's their favorite thing.
All I'm saying to you is, if I don't think he is, that's my thing. But I can't say don't say that. He can say what he wants to. Okay.
Do you think he's?
With that being said, I think that he is the king of R&B for his generation. What is his generation doing? Rapping. The end.
So who would be his competition that he's lording over?
Anybody
who's coming in
and
singing. This isn't to say that I disagree or
who's singing? Who's singing of his generation? Lucky Day, Tone Stith, I'm talking about male artists that are in his even though they're slightly older, but they're coming in at his time. But he's urban mainstream. They're urban AC-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So there isn't really anybody. You can't count Chris. But let's get to the question at hand. Who do I think is the king?
Yes.
That's the question, Pastor Troy.
The next question.
Well, because him was, in my mind, the essence of R&B music, undisputed, hands down. However, everybody has their time.
Here's the disclaimer.
I know.
And he ended his own time with all his personal mess. Right? I hear you. With all his personal mess, he canceled himself out.
This must be.
I'm talking about R. Kelly. He cancels himself out.
Oh.
Because he, to me, is the essence of R&B. But he canceled himself out. Who was next in line? Remember the movie Juice? Remember when the dude fell off, when Tupac fell off the bridge? Off the building?
Off the roof.
Remember when Omar Epps was walking and the kid said,
"You got the juice now."
To me, Trey Songz has the juice now.
Did you help him write that hate note song to R. Kelly about how
I begged him not to do it, and he did not listen to me. I begged him. He thought he's such an R. Kelly fan. He was mad when R. Kelly started using auto-tune because he felt like, what are you doing? You sound like Dream and T-Pain now. You ain't supposed to do that. Man, I'm going to get him. And he did it. And I'm like, do you got to say his name? Really? You want to go say his? No, I'm telling you. Yo, it's going to be hot. Man, Troy, see, you scared, man. You always wooty. That's a regular thing between
Was his t-shirt on, or was it like, a medium too big?
It was off. Period.
Yeah,
I feel like they're
excited, talking about Death to Auto-Tune the Kells. I'm like, dude, this is making my job even harder because we were in the middle of making his third album. That if it didn't work, he's getting dropped.
That was Ready.
And he gonna do that? Huh?
Was that Ready? What was the third?
Yes.
Album? Yeah, Ready. Yeah.
That was Ready. And it hadn't come out yet. We hadn't finished it yet. And you're gonna do that?
This is when he cut his hair. This is when he cut the braids off.
Well, he hadn't cut his hair yet. And so it was just like bad. And I think about it, if social media was like it is now back then, he would have been done. Like it would have been one of those things that he couldn't outlive. But social media wasn't big like that yet.
I think that's the saving grace for a lot of artists these days.
Well, it's that generation, Trey, Neo, Chris, Mario, Omarion. They're the last of before the whole social media thing kicks in. They're the last of that generation. But anyway, because R. Kelly, Trey had such a similar style of R. Kelly, which I encouraged because Trey wasn't like a runner. He wasn't the type of singer that does runs and gospel-y. So the only person he really admired was R. Kelly. Now, let's look at the history of R. Kelly. Who does R. Kelly sound like? Aaron Hall. Who did Aaron Hall sound like? Charlie Wilson. Who did Charlie Wilson sound like? But a cross between DJ Rogers and Stevie Wonder, because he was DJ Rogers' band. So he has DJ Rogers' tone. He has Stevie Wonder's runs. So R. Kelly, if you recall, when he comes out, he's in public announcement with the goatee and the high fade. Mm-hmm. Then when he goes solo and he does Honey Love, remember, Vibe and Honey Love, sounding like Aaron, blatantly, didn't care. But then when he did his first debut album, what did he do? He cut his hair bald, kept the goatee, put the shades on, and got a cane. The only person who was doing that at the time was Aaron. So it was like, this nigga really doing this? Like, you already sound like the nigga. You gonna cut your bald and goatee, glasses, and the cane? Seriously. So he did it. He blatantly did it. And he was unapologetic with it. And the reason why he was able to get past it is because Aaron didn't keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And it
So
didn't keep going. Remember, Aaron had Don't Be Afraid, which blew up, and
Don't Be
everybody was like,
Afraid.
yeah. Remember, that was button, like, and then it fell, and then he did nothing. And then he came back with I Miss You. Everybody was like, yeah, Aaron's back. And then he fell off again.
Mm-hmm.
What it was R. Kelly doing? Sex, my mind's telling me no.
The real question is, what was I doing to
body.
those songs as a teenager? But that's
Probably knocking on the window trying to save your friends from his basement.
hey, listen, the neighbors knew my name.
Did they? Because you were cutting the lawn trying to open the window for your girlfriends from high school? I'm going to apologize to our listeners because we really have fallen down an R. Kelly rabbit hole. So we apologize.
Well, listen, I'm gonna pull us back out. So
for
I
any of
actually
myself
did
included.
I actually did an interview with Raheem Devon a few months ago, and interestingly enough, he said that some years ago when he was in the mid 2000s, like 2007, that Trey's manager, which I assume he was talking about Delante, came to him and was like, hey man, we just bit your whole style, with the braids and cutting off the braids and because obviously Trey is from Virginia and Raheem is from the DC, Baltimore area. Is this story sounding familiar or no?
Not at all.
Go on and say it, Eddie. Go on and say it.
I don't remember Trey and Raheem crossing paths at all. So that
was it on a tour, or because I spoke to Delante about it. I think it was something about a tour, but if you don't know about
I didn't go on tour with him. So I didn't know about that. All I can say is I didn't know about that kind of thing. But in my mind, I'm like, I don't see where Trey got anything wrong. I don't.
Moving right along.
Yeah.
I did have straight backs.
I mean, again, Trey had that when he was a kid. And this is before Raheem was blown up. He was like, Trey was 15. Like, I don't know. I don't think Trey was paying attention to Jay-Z back then. He wasn't even.
Really?
He was, the reason why he met me was because he was doing talent shows and singing, but he was a rapper. And so it was about, hey, should I sing? And so his stepdad asked my ex-partner, could he listen to his stepson, which was Trey, and Charles wasn't the music guy, I was. Charles said, send him to Troy. Trey came to me, and that's how it began. When he sang to me, he sang Donnell Jones. He did a great job. It didn't blow me away, but he stayed in key, had a nice little tone. Then he sang me one of his songs that he wrote. And I'm like, okay, who do you like? Who's, what R&B, like, what artist do you like? And he's like, thought, because he's 15. And he's like, Jay-Z. And I'm like, wait, no. You said you want to sing, right? And he goes, oh, yeah, R. Kelly. Now we can start.
Yeah.
Now we can begin there. And that's how that happened. So the only person that was in his peripheral was R. Kelly. And he didn't know Ryan Lamar. I didn't even know what a Ryan Lamar was.
Trey Songz sounds better than Trey rapper. So we're glad that he went down that path.
Well, he's actually a dope rapper.
What is Trey doing these days? I feel like I haven't seen him in a long time.
Because he's off the internet. He's off. He took a break.
No, that's great. But like, what's he doing?
He's recording.
Besides quarantining with the rest of us. We're
working on his 8th album.
Okay.
Damn, that's crazy. His 8th album.
8. Number 8.
Wow.
Yep.
Talk about Troy Taylor University, TTU, because you said that they brought Trey to you, obviously with John Tay's story. So talk to us about TTU.
Well, TTU is basically my artist development department. So I have Songbook, which is my production company / label. But before you can get to that, you got to go through TTU. Since I'm still an artist developer, I still believe in artist development, and all the labels basically believe that social media is the artist development nowadays. Mm-hmm. I still believe in hands-on developing artists. So that will be TTU, Troy Taylor University. It started off as a joke for my Ustream classes that I used to do every Tuesday and Thursday back in the day. And it became a thing. Like a lot of the people who were consistently viewing and coming in, they considered themselves now alumni. So it turned out to be an actual thing. So I decided to take it a step further and use it as now my development department.
Love it.
Okay. And so I think that's an interesting twerk, because I feel like a lot of people are now talking about how there is no artist development, and your artist development is basically you singing on IG Live and hoping people like it in the comments.
Yeah, that's what I said. Social media is the artist development now.
Instead of just you, Troy, being like, ooh, Trey, you stayed on key and that's nice. It's like 4,000 people being like, ooh, girl, no. So how, I guess, in the outside of your school, can new artists like sort of, is it possible to facilitate artist development themselves, or do they need to find someone like you, or, you know, to help?
The people are doing it themselves. They're just not sticking. What's the last time we had a superstar?
And that was going to be my next question. So it's like, yes, they're doing it themselves, but are they doing it well enough? And so how can they?
They're doing it for the moment.
Sort of...
The labels make their little streaming money, and they're on to the next.
So how can an artist, let me ask this question a different way and a third time, how can an artist sort of jump over that hoop and find the development that will turn them into a lasting R&B star with sustainability?
They got to get somebody who will take the time to do it. Because let me tell you something, like, people, just because they can sing, they call themselves an artist. To be an artist is a thing. It's not just because you can sing, you're an artist. It's like, just because you can make a track don't mean you're a producer. Like, that means you're a track maker. You have to learn how to become a producer. And so with being an artist, just because you sing don't mean you're an artist. It just means you're a person who sings. So if you want to be an artist, let's think about this for a second. The way you come in the room, the way you stand, the way you sit, the way you talk, what you got on. If you do that right, and you do that with an executive and it's right, they shift in their seat when they look. They don't say much, but it's like this. And they're looking them up and down. They don't make it obvious, because, you know, they got egos, so they don't want to make it obvious, but they're checking them out, and they're seeing that they're a star. Now, here's where it could go left or right. Right being great, left being bad. It's when they press play. Now, if they press play, and they like they swag and but they press play, and it doesn't match up to what they see, they shift back.
That's the disappointment look.
That's the disappointment look. So that means one half was good and the other half won't. Let me reverse it. They walk into a room, they're slouching. What they got on is whack. They barely even talk. They don't even know how to speak. They mumble. They don't even look you in the eyes. You know what I mean? Their gear is whack. And then they sit down. When they sit down, they slouch. Don't make direct contact. But the executive press play. And the music is amazing. They still go, because they're not going to develop them how to sit, how to walk into a room, da-da-da-da-da-da. They're not going to do that. But the music is crazy. The first thing they think of is like, who could do these songs? That's a star.
I'm laughing because I've done that a few times in some of my
These songs are amazing. Like, these songs, he ain't good for it, or she ain't good for it, but these songs are crazy. So it's real. And now it's changed. So, because like when people hit me up like, oh, yo, Troy, could you listen to my song? I go to their Instagram, and if I'm looking through their thing, they don't sing, they don't have nothing to showcase their voice. They're not fly. But I'm not listening to their songs. I'm just not.
Mm-hmm.
But
there's
that's
no
the same
indication
thing
that they're
now.
A star.
Yeah, because what's a star? What's the star to you, Hillary?
Someone who has an it factor. and is attractive. The it is just attractive. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be the prettiest person. It doesn't have to be the most fashionable person, but they have a swagger that is all their own. I like weirdos. So I like, like Andre 3000 before everybody was like, Andre 3000, like 94 Andre 3000 was like I was like, oh, okay, you're a little weirdo. I'm with it. Like, you're,
That's
you're
legit.
funny. Like, I like those kinds of people. Like, what's
Eddie,
Khalees
what's
doing
the
over
start
here?
of
She
you?
got this video. She's taking her body apart. That's crazy. Like, I'm in that vein.
What's the start of you, Eddie?
Listen, for me, obviously doing A&R, you just feel it. They come in the room, I think you hit on it. You're automatically drawn to their whatever it may be. And it may not even be about, oh, I got this name brand this on or this name brand that on. It's just something about them. We've been around stars, our whole careers. We've been around artists our whole career. We know when, wow, this is special. And you hit it on the head. When they press play, you're like, please God, let this go right. And I'd say about 70% of the time it doesn't, but then there's that 30%, you're like, yes,
yeah,
there's something here.
What is a star to me? A star is when someone wants to be you.
Explain. Like, you as in?
If you got something that people, I love the way they walk. I like the way they got a cool walk. Or I like the way they talk. It looks like a little accent and they start wanting to talk like it. I like the way they dress. They want to dress like you. They want to sing like you. They want to do music. There's something about you that makes them feel like when they go into the mirror, they remembered something they saw about you that they want to apply to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's a star to me. A star is a person who has the ability to make people want to join in with whatever they got going on. And not everybody does that. Not everybody makes you feel like that. So when you see a person that you look them up and down and you go, it's back to the it factor, but explaining it all the way, it's not just the it factor. It's, I like this. I like the way you do that. Mm-hmm. I never thought about doing it that way. How'd you do that? Or the way you sing, it's like the way your voice is. I like that. And when people have that thing, everybody gravitates towards them and want to be like them, or and like invest in time and watch it grow and see where it goes. But everybody don't have that thing.
So perhaps the takeaway from all of this is to hone in on what it is to be you that makes you special as an artist.
Yes.
Because we've seen other people, and I won't name names, that have all these beautiful songs that they are able to write for other people, but when they try to come out themselves, they just don't necessarily have that sustaining it factor.
You know why though?
No, I don't.
Most of them don't even write the type of songs they write for everybody else. They do this weird stuff for themselves. Mm-hmm. You'd be like, yo, how you gonna write all these songs for them? And then you do, and that's not me. That's not me. That's like when I write for people, well, my style is this. Nigga, if you don't write you a smash that you just wrote for everybody else, what are you doing? Like, oh my God, so many writers. Like,
leaving the goodies for themselves, obviously.
No, they be on some weird, nah. That's when I write for them. But when I do this, I do this. Like, dude, if you sound like a freaking Martian. Like, no, that hit you wrote for them, do for yourself. Because people are gonna be like, you did that? How come you don't do that for yourself? That's not my style. Nigga, it is your style. You just wrote it. Like, so I can go all day with that. But
one of the greatest lessons that Mariah Carey has shared with other up-and-coming artists is, like, if you have a hit song, write it yourself, sing it yourself, and get those coins forever. Get that publishing.
Yeah.
You hit something. You hit something on the head.
Don't keep the coins. Don't get your publishing. Tell us, Pastor Trey.
Everybody can't do it.
Fair. Not everyone is Mariah Carey. That is true.
Yeah. That is true. You hit something on the head about songs, and if my memory serves me correctly, during the competition battle that Jonte and Nia were having, I believe it was you who said something about this is a copyright.
That's a.
Can you explain?
What's the difference for the civilians?
What is the difference between a song and a copyright?
That is basically what I'm saying when I say that, because it's all the same thing. But when I say it's a copyright, that's a song that could stand the test of time, transform into another time, and still live and keep its value. When it changes 10 years from now, it holds its value. When you hear Rock With You, Michael Jackson, no matter what, the feeling stays the same. Old doesn't come to your mind. Back in the day doesn't come to your mind. It's Rock With You, Michael Jackson, period, the end. It holds its value. That song is a copyright. It stands the test of time. That's what a copyright is. And I say it as that, not to say that it's anything different, but I call that a copyright because to me it's like not just a song, it's
Timeless.
a copyright. They got that value. The value stays there, like with the song. So we don't hear that songs like that. You know what I mean? We got good songs, we got great songs, we got smashes, and we got hits. And you got a copyright. Let me tell you what a copyright is. I Will Always Love You. That's a copyright. How many times that song was done over and it was a smash every time, whoever did it, but then Whitney comes in and does it, and now it's like, no, you can't hear it no other way. Whitney just made that classic.
Dolly Parton's like, whatever, as long as I keep getting my check.
As I got the money, because she got the copyright. But that's Diane Warren, Max Martin, they do copyrights.
Yep.
It's like, yikes. There's a whole nother level of songwriting. So that's why I say that.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about like the things that you feel have remained constant in your career as a songwriter and composer, like to get to these copyright songs. Like, what are people doing when they're making those kinds of records?
Well, I don't believe any of the kids know what they're doing. They're just vibing.
And also, when you don't sound like a crotchety old man, Pastor Troy, let's try to answer that question again.
No.
Because it really just sounded like, fuck them kids.
They don't know what they're doing. And so that brings
children.
on the mayor. That's where the Mayor of R&B comes in.
Oh.
There we go. That was next.
That wasn't a very benevolent answer. It sounded like an old Black woman telling people what they can and can't.
Well, nope. Because there is a way to do it. And there's a right and there's a way to do it wrong. So now I'm going to maintain my answer because the kids of today, they listen to the 90s R&B, they love it. However, they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to play. Fruity Loops, they get loops and they loop it over and over and they sing to it. They don't know how to get in and do chords at a bridge. They don't necessarily, if you notice, there aren't any backgrounds and harmonies because that's not what they really know how to do. They know how to write and they sing and they got melodies and they repeat and repetition, of course, brainwashes you. But when it comes to arrangements, they don't know how to do it. But they love when they hear a 90s record that has it all in there. So now the Mayor of R&B comes in and says, hey, listen, give me that track. Let me show you something. And I add a bridge to it. And they go, yo, it's crazy, yo. And I'm like, so what did I do? I wasn't the grumpy old man that says, move out the way, you don't know what you're doing. I say, no, let me take it and add to it and show you where else it could go. And even for the song, it's like, watch this. Yo, you just put some backgrounds in there, like harmonies. How you do that? Like, this is R&B music.
In 3 parts.
Right, or 4, or arrangements. So me not being the grumpy old man of my generation, I'm the opposite. I'm like, no, I understand, because check this out. When I was coming up and music was transforming into New Jack Swing, that wasn't right. All the engineers at the time was like, yo, the kick is distorted, the snare's distorted, and here you got Teddy Riley compressing it even more to hit even harder. And they was like, that's too loud. It's too much. It's too loud. That's not right. Clean that up. You're like, no. I like the dirt. Keep the dirt in after the kick. The dirt after the kick is like a percussion. And your engineers
it's supposed to sound smooth like Freddie Jackson.
and so my generation was like known to be rebellious and too loud, and the track is distorting and it's hard, and we sitting up there like crazy. So I understand, because my generation got looked at as crazy at that time. So here I am, the OG. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna be like, no, I get it. I don't like the fact that you only use 2 chords throughout the whole song. I don't like the fact that there's no arrangements, no bridges. But however, I'm gonna show you how it's supposed to sound. But they always like it. So I have transformed myself into the next generation with Jacquees, with Osiris, and they respect that, because I'm not the guy that does what most of my generation do, make them feel like they don't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I enhance them and make them feel like, okay, they can learn.
That sounds like a good place. And speaking of learning, let's talk a little bit about money, because it seems like there's like a contentious period that's happening right now between songwriters waiting on checks and producers getting paid off the top. What do you say to that?
This is terrible.
He's shaking his head, ladies and gentlemen.
It's terrible. It's horrible, 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 horrible. The disrespect that the producers, not just my generation, but producers in general, the producer gets no respect, because social media shows the artist, not the writer, not the producer, the artist. The artist doing the shows, the artist in their living room doing quarantine, like, you know, having fun and doing the song. No one knows who did the tracks that this artist is displaying and singing in the background. They don't say the name of the producer. They never talk about the producer or the writer. So the common regular audience thinks they did it all. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, there are kids who are selling their beats literally. Either they're renting their beats for $50, or they'll sell the whole
Type
beat
beats.
for, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So now when somebody like me comes in, I got to compete with that, because now it's like, oh, they can get a hot beat off of FL Studio with this kid who's down the street who does hot beats, and he's selling his beats for $200, and I'm 15 grand. Like, okay, Troy, that's a little too high. So I got to come down just to survive, which is horrible. On top of that, they don't got credits anymore. So if I don't put my tag in there, no one can read credits. People, kids don't go to Spotify to go down and scroll in song credits. They're not doing all that. Nobody's doing all that. So you can't open up a CD and read credits anymore. So how are people going to know if I did a song? I got to put my tag in there. And that's the way I get more work, or that's the way you know that I did it. So I used to be against tags, but now I understand, if I don't put that tag in there, no one will know that I did it. Mm-hmm. So once I get hot again, my price goes up. And now I ain't doing that. So that's the thing for me. My thing for me is like, okay, I'll take the low price, no problem. But when I get hot,
charge it to the game.
I will. It's going back up. Yep.
Well, you have figured out how to sustain 30 years, aka 3 lifetimes in this music business, and I have no doubt that you will sustain another 3 lifetimes.
I'm just getting started. Seriously,
really,
really. I'm still passionate about it. I still love it. I still hear melodies. I still get up in the middle of the night to do an idea. I still have that joy of doing music, no matter how frustrated it can be sometimes. That has not left. The day that leaves, then I'll figure out something else. But right now, I'm just as competitive with these kids, and my work ethic is like way better than theirs, because they get distracted easily. Very.
That's Pastor Troy shitting on you, children.
Yes.
He's saying you have a short attention span.
They do. They know they do. Scatterbrains. For the guys, the girls complain. Like, oh my God, could you not play this PlayStation? Like, I'm here. I came all the way over here. You're just gonna play the PlayStation. You know what I'm saying?
And you just got me in the studio watching this 17-year-old Tyrese sing this song for 2 days.
Yeah, no, well, I planned on differently, but remember, I had
The
it timed
game is the
perfectly.
game, Pastor
I
Troy.
had it timed
Sweet
perfectly.
lady.
Yeah,
Would you sit in the studio?
but she
with
enjoyed it. Oh, I forgot the other part of that story.
Where you didn't get
She
shot?
went
There's
on
more?
to become my wife.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
how many other studio visits did she have to endure?
Oh, well, she was happy to be there, wherever I was.
That's nice.
Troy
That's
flew her
cool.
out.
Got
Flew her out.
So now, Eddie, yeah, this is what happens when you get flued out, ladies. Sometimes it
flued out.
ends in,
That was my first time. Yo, I was in the game for like, by that time, like 12 years, and I had never done it before. So it was like
flew the girl out.
It was, yeah, I never done it because I felt like if I ask a girl if I'll fly her out here and she come out here, what kind of chick is she? Oh, stop doing that, Troy. No, that's why you
But
don't
it's
do
also,
it.
what kind of dude are you? Feminism.
I know, but I didn't think about that. All I knew was I just never done it before. So that was the very first time I ever flew a girl out.
Nice. Okay, so
I
Eddie
think
has
my
a
last
lightning
time because I didn't
round
even do
that
that
he
before.
wants to pit women against each other.
I'm not pitting women against each other.
It sounds like
What?
Not never.
And then make a man choose between them. Sexism,
Never.
ladies and gentlemen.
Never.
What?
Never,
I'm kidding.
Oh, I'm lost.
It's a
I'm like,
healthy
what happened?
competition in which Eddie would like you to choose from a female R&B pantheon of his selections.
Yes, I'm
Take it
building.
away, Eddie.
I'm building the female R&B pantheon.
Sort of
And
like
someone-
March Madness, but for April.
Okay.
And someone of your knowledge and your credibility and your even working with some of these artists, I want you to participate.
I would love to do that. I mean, what does it entail? What do you need me to do?
Just answer these 4 questions.
Okay.
Pick your favorite of the 3 choices.
Okay.
There you go.
What's the criteria? Is it of their best songs? They have the best songs. They have the best voice.
It's just artists. I'm just gonna name just off the top. I'm gonna name three artists in each category, female artists in each category, and just tell me which one. Ready?
Okay.
Gladys Knight, Diana Ross, Patti LaBelle.
Mm. Ding,
Patti
ding.
LaBelle.
Patti LaBelle.
Yep.
Solid choice.
Shaka Khan, Anita Baker, Sade.
Anita Baker.
Toni Braxton, Mariah Carey, Janet Jackson.
Janet Jackson.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. Last category. Jill Scott, Brandy, Mary J. Blige.
Brandy.
The Vocal Bible.
Yes.
There you have it from the mayor of R&B, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Troy Taylor.
Clap it up. Clap it up. Very cool.
So now, what is the thing of that? Like,
I'm just curious and getting a couple of artists who we are interviewing. The last person I did that with was Kevin Ross.
Okay.
We're just building out a female.
Can I know who he picked?
Yeah, actually. Hold on. I'll tell you right now. Hold on.
Oh, this is good. This is good.
Kevin Ross picked Patti LaBelle, Sade,
Okay.
Janet Jackson, and Mary J. Blige.
Okay.
So he,
I like that game.
For those who don't know, Kevin Ross came through TTU, and you worked with Kevin for a period of time, 3-4 years, while he was at Motown and did amazing, incredible things. You worked on his new project with him too, correct? His Audacity.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
So, so you can see that as reflective in his answers as well.
Yes. That's like, okay. And the person he picked, I contemplated, but then I had to go with my heart. It's a heart thing. Anita Baker just,
Listen.
Now Sade does the same thing to me too, but Anita's just,
She's auntie for real forever. Love her.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by the cast of R&B.
Oh my gosh, this was
Pastor
so
Troy.
fun. Thank you for having me.
Thank
Let
you.
me spew.
That's Hillary. I'm the Silver Fox, and this is my brother, the Silver Fox.
Beard
Man, Troy Taylor.
The bearded silver fox.
Yes, because the top is black, ladies and gentlemen.
The pepper. That's the pepper.
That's the
Yes,
pepper.
salt and pepper situation. Mostly pepper though, but the beard, we got the silver action popping. When I
Cast
just
of R&B,
don't have
baby.
enough grace. So this is Hillary, that's Eddie, and we are out. Thank you so much for your time.